Ladies, you must pick one. Guy number 1, 5'5", practices... Wait, hold on. Marital arts? Hello? I think he means martial arts for 20 years. I don't know what marital arts is. Is that domestic violence in the context of a marriage? For 20 years, and legality owns... you guys got to spell check these.
And legally?
I like your high-vis jacket, though. Legality own guns. Guy number 2, 6'3", soft, emotional, feminine, and doesn't like to fight.
There are things I would change.
All right, here's your 2 options. One of them, the 5'5" guy, is a wife beater.
You're making the personality traits though. So like guy number 1 doesn't have a personality. Guy number 2 does have a personality listed.
I like emotional guys who are open.
You like
talking.
Emotional guys?
Well, like open to talking, about things and not just holding it in. Yeah,
because... You sure about that one?
Okay.
No,
well, yeah, because I like to talk about
then
things.
It means that they like care about you. I think.
Does it?
No, I think no. Some guys hold it in, right? But I'd rather talk about it. I'm like a person who likes to talk about.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay, I like to talk about things, so yeah, I just would rather want an emotional guy or someone who would talk about their feelings.
Yeah,
personally.
Agreed.
So you want a guy who can be vulnerable?
Yeah.
Guys aren't built that way.
Well, I think some are.
Only. You don't think they should show emotions? What do you mean?
I don't think men should be vulnerable with their girl.
No.
Why? Why?
It's an L. Because
an L?
It's an L.
An L.
It's an L.
But humans have emotions, and I think it's okay to talk about it. If guys just bottle it up, that's how they get angry, and then they're not happy. And I feel like you're not robots. Men can cry, I don't mind.
Well, I mean, there's a few reasons. I mean, chiefly, if you see, you're going to lose respect for your boyfriend if he's vulnerable in front of you.
I wouldn't say so. I still respect my boyfriend, even if he, cries in front of me. Wait, that doesn't even make any sense, though. How could you, lose respect for somebody if they show emotions?
Well, I'll tell you why. Women will claim they want a guy who's in touch with his emotions or who can be vulnerable in front of them. But let me ask you all a question. Let's say, when a guy's approaching you, let's say he's approaching you in person, would you prefer that he steps to you with confidence, his eye contact is on point, and he's, confident? Or would you prefer him kind of be really shy, his eye contact's weak? He's not being weird, but he's a little socially anxious, eye contact is weak.
The first one, but what does that have to do with showing emotions?
I want to go around the table really quick on this. Which of the 2 would you prefer?
Obviously a confident guy to come up to me, probably.
Okay.
I've had both happen to me. I mean, I think shy guys, it's always interesting when they try to shoot their shot.
What do you mean it's interesting?
Well, because, or not that it's funny, but I was it's cute to see there are some guys that get really nervous or they're more on the shy side, but I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Obviously, I think you feel more enticed and intrigued when it's a more confident guy comes up to you. But then again, there's a difference between being confident and being cocky,
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Nicolette?
What are the 2 options?
Confident. He steps to you, approaches you in a confident manner, good eye contact, no stumbling, versus a guy who's kind of bashful, steps to you a bit shy, eye contact weak. He's not being weird or creepy, but he's shy, uncomfortable, socially anxious.
I would say confident, but not cocky.
Okay, what about you?
I would say both. I think it just matters if you're a good person. I feel like if you're very confident and have nothing in common, but he's not nice, I feel like it doesn't matter if you're shy or confident.
Sure. Sarah, what about you?
I would say confident. I do think it can be endearing if someone's a little bit shy, and then that kind of pushes me to be the more confident one, which isn't always a good scenario, but it's something that I've struggled with, so it's kind of good practice to step into that role.
So you want to step into a more masculine role?
I don't want to. The times that I have found myself doing that, I don't think it's been all bad. I would prefer not to.
You'd prefer it not to. Okay, Mary, what about you?
Confident. I'm not going to entertain a guy's advances
Sure.
out of pity.
Okay.
I'll say with being prior military, the civilian guy just doesn't work for me. I can't do the weakness. I have to have a man in leadership and show strength. That's just how I'm bred, and it just speaks more.
Okay, so it's being in the military, you want a very masculine, confident guy. Okay, so that's a guy stepping to you, being a little nervous, a little shy, maybe his eye contact isn't great, that's quite literally him being vulnerable. However, women are repulsed by said vulnerability. Therefore, women don't actually want men to be vulnerable.
Brian, I have a different perspective on this. I think that what women kind of want is to be the only person, the only woman in a man's life that he has a willingness to show vulnerability to after trust has been gained.
I agree.
Not immediately, because if it's immediately, then that's manipulative. Like if he's crying to make you feel bad for him.
Well, I suppose it would be a woman's preference that her man is only vulnerable with her, where instead of being vulnerable to the entire world. However, that's kind of picking and choosing when a man is vulnerable and when he isn't. So the point I'm trying to say is that women are hardwired to find vulnerability in men. They view it as weakness, and it's a turnoff. If a man, it would be a major turnoff for most women.
I think for emotionally healthy women, it is not a turnoff if you have gained trust beforehand.
I think if you ask 99% of women if they prefer confident men or men who are a bit more shy and socially anxious, almost all women are going to say they prefer a confident guy.
Upon first impression, yes.
Right, but the difference is that a woman as a man, we would actually prefer a woman step to us a little bit shy instead of being like super bold and confident. So men, if a girl steps to us and she's a bit bashful and a little shy, we would actually prefer that over a girl who steps really confident, because then we're going to think certain things. But so that's the difference between men and women.
There's a difference between first impressions and then where you are into a long-term relationship, what you show of yourself to someone you've been with for a long time.
Well, the other thing is, even in a long-term relationship, if you were to cry in front of your girlfriend, even if you've been dating for a while, and she might not immediately, she might be there to support you, but she is going to lose attraction for you if you cry in front of your girlfriend.
I mean, if it's overkill, if you're emotionally imbalanced and you cry too often, but if there is a valid reason, then...
Even if there's a valid reason, women detest weakness in men.
That statement is true. I think the context doesn't fit always. And you also aren't a woman, so you don't know if
that's right. I'm not a woman. However,
or repulses us.
Sure, but I mean, I've had my own experiences. I've spoken with a lot of men, and a lot of them report that when they've been in scenarios where they are either showing some sort of vulnerability, there's a palpable shift in the relationship after some event when the guy has demonstrated a weakness or a vulnerability. I'll give you guys an example. So this was a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago. So I was dating this girl. I'd been dating her for 6 months. I got jumped. So I got all fucked up. So I this is my girl. I've been talking to her for 6 months. I call her up. It's like late in the night. She comes over. And I didn't cry. However, I was all bloodied up and, kind of fucked up, right? And I was in pain, but I wasn't crying or anything, but I was like, oh, fuck. I was limping and shit. And there was such a palpable shift in the relationship from that point. Prior to that, we never argued. After she witnessed me in this weak state, we started fighting. It was such a noticeable shift. She started becoming a bit more... less cooperative, less agreeable. We started fighting. And a lot of men have similar experiences. When you display a weakness, the woman loses attraction for you. And honestly, the writing is on the wall. So, I mean, my recommendation to men is, if you have an issue, talk to your male friends. Don't go to your girl.
I feel like in your case, she probably just didn't like you that much in the beginning, and then
she was pretty keen.
She was put into that position to take care of you for the first time, and she probably realized oh, I don't actually like this guy that much to take care of him.
I mean, I would disagree with that, but perhaps that could be an explanation, but I disagree with your assessment.
I think maybe her reaction was because she thought you weren't competent at protecting yourself, and therefore how could you be competent at protecting her, even on a subconscious evolutionary level.
Well,
that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. It's evolutionary.
Yes, it is. I totally agree with you. But I think that like sometimes if a woman is like, if she's like not emotionally healthy, then she's not able to respond to a man having emotions. Like she can only let her emotions take the stage and be paid attention to and tended to.
Sounds like most relationships.
I also think a lot of girls overlook the quiet guy. I remember just being in the military, a lot of the quiet guys, a lot of the stoic ones, they're very manly. You just didn't know. They never showed their emotions, but if something were to go down, I'm going to go to that man instead of the little bitch crying. I'm not going to go to him. What is he going to protect me for? No. So I'm like, I think there's just a difference between, women who've never been in a situation where they might need to have someone fend for them. We live in a very, very babysit type society where everything's given to us. You guys don't know what it's like to actually need a man. So therefore you say the things that you say, which is like, it's a whole nother thing. Go to war. You're not going to want a man who bitch. You're not going to want a man who cries. You want to want a man who knows how to think on his feet. You're going to want a man who knows how to find that money, get that money to make sure you survive. Why the hell would I want to go to some weak guy who's just going to complain and bitch and make my life harder?
Brian, I think that I thought through this a little bit more. I think men's emotional exclusivity with a woman is an analog to a woman's sexual exclusivity with a man. Do you get what I'm getting at?
Sort of.
He values complete loyalty and monogamy from her, and there's an emotional loyalty and monogamy that a woman expects or desires from a man.
Does anyone
she wants to be the only woman that gets to see him in a vulnerable state.
Sure. Carson, the audio got switched. Eric, can you help him figure out you have to find that little audio that's in the right corner. My audio's muted over here. You're going to hit the Windows button. You're going to have to remember, I think I showed you before the stream, you're going to have to hit the, yep. Switch it. No. Yeah, switch it. Yep. Put it on speakers, the bottom one. Yep. Okay, sorry, the thing, close that out. Okay, cool. Does anyone on this side of the table have anything in response?
I obviously want a guy who's going to be able to protect me and stuff, but at the same time, if something's going on and let's say one of their family members dies and they cry, I'm not going to be turned off by that,
You'd probably be turned off by it.
Really? I don't think so.
I don't think
the guy cried?
No. I don't think that's a turn
I think
on.
most men are overly
I think
emotional
people are
and
humans
overly
and they
vulnerable
cry.
these days.
I think it's cute when a guy cries.
That's
and I think
turn
it
off.
shows that you're really connected to them.
You think it's cute when a guy cries?
Yeah, it's kind of cute. It's they're showing their vulnerable side to you.
So you take pleasure in seeing
okay, so
your
I don't
fiancé
take
cry.
pleasure in it. I would say he's opening up to me. He really likes me.
You'll have to fix it again, guys.
Obviously there's a time and a place.
Okay.
And a man can still protect you if something goes down, even if he cries, because there's a time and a place for emotions and protecting you with his fist or whatever if someone tries to break in or something.
But you can't predict when he's going to be stoic and calm and handle the situation.
Well, yeah.
So you don't know that.
If
so
you
what
live
if he
with
becomes
somebody,
emotional? What if he becomes?
Hold on.
M. Martin super chatted $200.
Yo, Martin, thank you, man.
Ladies, you are viewing it through a filter. What vulnerability looks like through estrogen is a cathartic cry over a cute puppy. What emotional vulnerability looks like through the filter of testosterone is unfettered violence. Prisoners, school shooters, murderers. Stoicism is a must for men.
Yes, 100%.
I like the accent that makes
and
it
also,
funnier.
there was we've reacted to this video a couple times on the podcast, but there's this video of this MMA fighter woman who's on Joe Rogan, Maria Nakamoto or something, and she was dating a MMA fighter, and she said that she saw her boyfriend get knocked the fuck out within the context, like not in a street fight, but in an MMA fight. And she said, I dumped him afterwards because I was so turned off by him getting knocked out by another man. Whereas I don't suspect the reverse would be the case, because women look to men, at least from an evolutionary perspective, and also still today, for protection. You want your partner to be capable to some degree of protecting you. Whereas men, we don't look to women to protect us, really. So if a guy is vulnerable or weak, you almost biologically, there's going to be like this innate
you'll be repulsed by
She dumped him just because of that?
Mm-hmm.
She said it on the podcast. She said, yeah, I dumped him afterwards.
Deeper issues.
I think that, like, in a way, like, crying, you know, if you never see your partner cry, that's them just hiding a part of themselves from you.
Sure.
I think that in a way, just like opening up, if it's, you know, just once in a while, like, that's just being real, I think.
Being real?
Yeah, keeping it real.
I mean, just the whole like being vulnerable thing just falls flat on its face when you think about, okay, women like confident guys. As a guy, if you want to approach a girl, you have to be confident. Your eye contact has to be on eye contact has to be on point. You can't be stuttering, as I am right now. So you need to really step properly. Otherwise, the girl's gonna be like, this guy's weird. They're just like not interested. So whereas as a girl, you can be shy, whether it's on a dating app or in person, you can be shy, and a guy's not going to not be attracted to you if you're shy. In fact, I would actually make the argument that men are more attracted to women who are a bit more on the reserved side, are not loud, are not boisterous, are not obnoxiously loud. Men actually probably prefer kind of the more quiet, calm, mellow girls as opposed to the loud fucking obnoxious chicks. Okay, so yeah, so
That's how you really feel.
Tell us how I really
Well, I just want to point out that it's a line. Like, most men these days are overly emotional. It's just a fact. The testosterone is plummeting. It's like
failed society.
It's really bad. And yeah, like, women kind of deny that they feel repulsed by that, like, intense emotionality, vulnerability from men before it's even appropriate based on the relationship. And, like, of course they want to know that a guy is capable of defending himself and her.
Word. Okay. Oh wait, we already did this one. Let's see. We have